Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. I'm going to be covering stock market breaking news alerts here, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Comment below your own input on this video, and I'm going to get started here. Essentially, McConnell's in the process of offering a skinny bill. Essentially, no, it's not a woman that's skinny. It is a stimulus a bill. It's a smaller one, a smaller variation of one. He's basically pushing against the larger stimulus bill with the more bloated stuff involved in it. It's both a positive and a negative because it's not going to give the help that people necessarily need, but it will help pass certain things, such as basically passing a stimulus check, another one for individuals of a lower income, as well as some other little bits of things here and there. It's kind of more of a utilization of what the leftovers were from the previous one. Essentially, they're going to vote on this next week through the Senate. It's kind of mirrors on an earlier Republican proposal. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced Tuesday, said that another round of tax rebates would be included in the new GOP proposal. Unlike the earlier skinny package, he said the measure will include another round of checks for those who have been hit the hardest. Though he didn't specify an income threshold. I guess we'll find that out coming up into next week here. This news was yesterday, but we'll see how that progresses. Essentially, he seems to be pushing away from the larger bill as covered in the most recent video previously to this. This is a separate bill altogether away from those bigger ones, so I wanted to keep this in a separate video to focus on this for you guys. So there's still a chance of being passed for the smaller stimulus bill, but there's not going to be much of any help in regards to PPP airline and all those other miscellaneous things. There's sort of covering a little bit of that, but not really. This bill is more for the people than I would say it is for the overall markets and businesses. It will help them, but there isn't a whole lot in that involved as comparative to the larger bill that might be a little bit more impactful if you're holding stocks in the stock market, things like that. Uh, Overall, it's not a bad deal. I guess the plus side is that we might see a sooner stimulus bill, which might excite the market just a little bit in regards to what might be upcoming here. We'll see how this progresses, but the short answer is that this will include essentially that a stimulus check that a lot of people are looking for. We're going to see how that progresses. There isn't a whole lot of details on that. But since yesterday, the markets took a bit of a tumble, even more so than it did yesterday, and it's still kind of been on a little bit of a bottoming out. Today, it had a nice little bounce back from its bottom of 343. It's at 346 now and continuing to climb. It's kind of struggling just a little bit to break much up above that. They're likely waiting for updates from Pelosi here at 2 p.m. to give a little bit more insight as to what's going on. How this is going to progress, QQQ is still pretty flat. Tech hasn't really did a lot either. Defon, defense company, defense ETF holding RTX limit, and Boeing, how Lockheed and all these people are going to react. It kind of depends on whether there's going to be more of an update on whether that airline bill, the PPP bill, is going to pass or not, and that, or at least that portion and some variation of a bill, and that's exciting the markets a little bit today. Jets kind of flat on the day still. It's still a little bit red. Uh, they're basically consolidating, waiting for some kind of news in regards to that. Ultimately, the skinny bill will be likely to be passed. This isn't anywhere near what Democrats or Republicans wanted, but it's a very straightforward. It's kind of like the one-off bill that Trump recommended I don't know, I'd say about a week ago. It has some of what they need, some of what they don't. And this isn't more of a push from Trump. This is more of a push from McConnell. So Pelosi and Democrats might be a little bit more in agreement to agree to this, since it's not so much Trump involvement as opposed to it's McConnell involvement. So since Pelosi's more against Trump than she is, McConnell, there might be an agreement, might be kind of some kind of balance out and at the end ultimately creating a positive vote as compared to the delay where it seems that Pelosi's delaying and ignoring Trump's request because she doesn't seem to like Trump very much, even with the 25th Amendment and all that fun stuff there that came out recently. Essentially, Trump is likely going to be okay with all of this and sign off on this. I feel that this is likely going to be the bill that's going to be passing this upcoming week. Comparative to the larger bill that they want to pass, I feel that's going to be dragged out until closer to the end of the year. In my opinion, we'll see how that turns out. Feel free to leave in the comments below your own input in regards to this skinny bill and what you think might happen during it, and whether you feel it's going to pass, whether you think it's a viable bill to even pass in the first place. Just feel free to share in the comments below your input. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and have a nice day.